The child you see now can become anyone. He may be the commander of the Royal Knights, or he can become a magician who possesses magical techniques. He may even be the head of the criminal underworld. With high potential, this boy is the star of all heroes. He came to Lady Belinda and told her what wonderful weather it was today. Right now, this boy is in front of her eyes, and she has to answer him rudely that she doesn't want to see him. She asks him to get away, and the boy runs away in tears. She didn't really want to scare him and make him cry. The heroine does not understand why she cannot say what she wants. But all this happens because of the system that appeared with her in this world. Belinda Blanche is the worst villain of all time, and has a bad reputation. It owns the largest casino on the continent. People said that she was too beautiful for such a character. But who would have thought that she was nothing more than a minor character? After an accident on the road, the heroine suddenly opened her eyes. This is how she realized that she found herself in a developmental game about raising a child. The heroine became the character who was destined to die every time. The game she was transported to is called Doki Doki. This is a parenting simulation game where you have to raise the game's main character. The player of the game itself is Ophelia, an aristocrat who sought refuge in the kingdom. Ophelia was entrusted with a child born under the stars of heroes. Ophelia saves an abused orphan boy. This boy is a child from a dream, born under the hero's star, the main character of the game. The heroine is unhappy that she became the Marquis's daughter, and not Ophelia. Belinda still dies because she tortured the poor child. But just because she became Belinda doesn't mean she has to die the same way she did. According to the game's plot, Belinda met this boy when he began serving her. Since she hasn't seen him around yet, it means she hasn't met him yet. Belinda needs to try to live this life properly. She decided that she would gently mock him and then send him to Ophelia. Since her family is rich, she will be able to spend all her gold on the boy. Suddenly, the maid broke a vase, for which she began to frantically apologize. The main character wanted to really smile at her. The maid believes that she has committed a crime deserving death. The heroine understood how Belinda behaved, since the maid was so frightened. So she understands that she urgently needs to improve her reputation. Belinda asked her to lift her head to see if there was any blood coming out. At that moment, her system suddenly sounded an alarm. She had never seen such a system window, even in the game. Suddenly, she decided to make sure that the maid had enough blood on her forehead. The heroine herself did not understand what she had just said. Taking her words literally, the maid hit her forehead on the floor. Then she asked if Belinda would be satisfied with this result. The system suggests completing the synchronization to become the perfect Belinda. In keeping with the behavior of a true villain, her mouth turned out to be a portal to hell. Belinda was too rude to the servants and maids. But the heroine doesn't want to be like that. Otherwise, she simply won't be able to live. She is sure that there is some way to turn off this translator. She noticed the system window she had seen recently. The heroine was delighted when she realized that she just needed to synchronize with Belinda. But she doesn't know exactly how to do this, and the system doesn't want to help. The maid suddenly knocked on her room door and asked her to come in. They will help her get ready for dinner with Mr. Chauvel. The heroine remembers that this is Belinda's older brother. All she knows is that it is mentioned in the game's plot. But if she wants to know more about Belinda, she needs more information. Soon the maids completely transformed Belinda. As the heroine thought, it was not for nothing that Belinda seemed so beautiful. Even though she is a violator, she remains an irresistible beauty. Her hobby is indulging in luxury. With such an appearance, she always attracted attention. The heroine decides to change her image because she doesn't want to live like that. These black tones of the dress gave her a more gloomy look. That's why Belinda came to the meeting in a different dress. Chauvel was already worried that Belinda wouldn't come. Chauvel is Belinda's cousin. Belinda lost her parents in an accident. Her uncle took pity on her and adopted her. The Marquis loved her more than his own son. Because of his loyalty, Belinda could be open about her nature. Apart from the loss of her parents, the heroine and Belinda have nothing in common. For Chauvel, she is just a sister who has brought shame to their family name. Chauvel suddenly compliments her dress, saying that it suits her very well. It turns out they are closer than the heroine thought. She wanted to thank him, but Belinda's true nature came out. She asks if she gave him permission to call her so casually. The heroine didn't want to say this at all, but the words just flowed out of her mouth. In the end, she decides to shut herself up with a piece of meat. She wants the Marquis to come quickly and resolve the situation. Chauvel asked her what had upset her so much again. He even decided to let her down for not wearing a morning dress. It turns out that only a day has passed since their father's funeral. Chauvel said that his father died, and he does not want to fall into despair. He believes Belinda should have continued to resist. Belinda asks him to move away from her, causing all the dishes to fly onto the floor. The young gentleman suddenly started bleeding. The heroine didn't understand what they were talking about, because she hadn't done anything. But when she turned around, the picture was worse than she thought. But Chauvel assures that everything is fine, and the cut is not that deep. He heard Belinda grab her maid by the hair and slam her head against the table. But the heroine saw that the maid hit herself then. The maids are already whispering about how crazy Belinda is. They discuss how she didn't even bother to wear the right dress. Now it became clear to her that Belinda had no ally in this house. She was not born with a golden spoon in her mouth, but only with an imitation of one. The newspapers write about how her older brother pays off her debts, although she is sure that he provoked her and invented crimes. There must be reasons why Belinda became so hot-tempered, but all she wanted was to get along with her family. In her past life, she lost her parents and lived with her aunt. Then she ran away to start living on her own. But there is no point in remembering the past anymore. The translator works without deviations even in written form. It won't activate if there's no one around Belinda listening to her. The heroine never learned the details of how to increase synchronization. 80% of Belinda's death is connected to our hero's patrons. The patrons recognized the protagonist's talent and helped him. At the same time, they punished Belinda for her cruel treatment of the protagonist. If she continues to insult the main character, she will definitely be killed. Her priority is to simply escape before it's too late. But literally, at that very moment, they bring her a boy who will now be her servant. Belinda's personal maid quit, and there was no replacement. The boy is an orphan, whom Chauvel took in to help. Belinda realized that this was the protagonist, but she's not sure the main character should be so shabby and thin. Right now, the system window does not appear when it is needed, so Belinda decided that she should examine the boy first. When he showed his face, Belinda was convinced of his cuteness. The heroine was convinced that in real life, he was 1,000 times more attractive. She meant to compliment him, but Belinda's actual words were that he looked like a dog. If she needs something, she can entrust the work to this child. He said that he had already lived for 9 years. Thinking that Belinda was unwell, he wanted to call the doctor. Belinda shouldn't scare him with her angry face, but she can't control it. There are about 6 months left until the start of the game. When he turns 10, he will meet Ophelia. Now that the heroine has seen his face, she can leave without regrets. But if she runs away now, she doesn't know how he will live until Ophelia. The boy knows how to clean well and repair cracks in shelves. He also knows how to make furniture brighter and cleaner. The boy says he will do whatever Belinda wants. He assures her that he will be useful if she gives him a job. After the heroine left her aunt's house, she had to work hard. And in this harsh reality, the main character was her only joy. If she just ran away, his future would go wrong because of her. That's why Belinda decides to stay with him for these 6 months. And in 6 months, they will separate from him forever. Belinda promises herself to deliver the protagonist into Ophelia's hands unharmed. When she asked him what his name was, he said he didn't have one yet. A system window notifies her of the task of giving the main character a name. She is surprised that she is allowed to name him herself. It turns out that they give her the title of Chief Guardian. Belinda said that if she got her hands on a dog, she should give it a name. The heroine never thought that this day would come. She wanted to name him Leo, but the name Ratty came out of Belinda's mouth. The heroine doesn't understand who dared to name her baby that. The task of giving a name to the main character was completed. The heroine tries to deactivate it, but it doesn't work. She is convinced that his name is Leo, he must grow up strong. Belinda, however, believes that Ratty is much more suitable for him. The boy agrees with her that now he will be Ratty. The system asks the heroine to behave in an age-appropriate manner. Belinda's filthy mouth ruined everything, but will call the boy Leo. But the heroine is in no hurry to give up and asks Leo to follow her. As his mistress, she gives him the first order. Leo thinks Lady Belinda really does look scary. However, he is glad that he was not sent to an orphanage. Belinda asks him to wash himself thoroughly. He needs to obey her and polish himself until he shines. After this, Belinda orders him to eat every last crumb. But Leo asked her if she really wanted him to eat it. But this is not the first time he has eaten spoiled food. He's going to swallow it down faster before he can taste it. But, unexpectedly for him, it turned out to be very sweet. As a result, Leo ate until his belly became round. Washing and eating until you're full seems to be that very work. Still, he even got a name, which he didn't expect at all. He was so happy that he even shed tears. His former director believed he had no name. Leo felt like he would remain nameless for the rest of his days. Even though his name is Crescenish, he will cherish this name. Belinda allowed him to work on the estate. Tomorrow Leo will do his best to help her. Perhaps then he will become someone important in this house. One of the servants noticed that they had a new one. He introduces himself as Toma, saying that he will now be his new neighbor. Toma was surprised when he heard the boy's name. He thought that little rat would come home in tears after the first day. It's amazing that the boy was accepted immediately upon his arrival. In Toma's time, servants had to sleep in the stables. He tells Crescenish that things will be difficult for him, but since it's only his first day, it's better for him to rest. Leo told him that he wants to know everything, and Toma asks him to prepare for this story. Since the boy is so interested, he is ready to tell. That night, Belinda dreams of her own execution. The emperor asked her why she had mocked the innocent child so much. Then she replied that Leo was born to be walked all over. Thus, the emperor realized that they had nothing more to talk about. This was the first ending of the game, the Crown Prince's loyal knight. Belinda wakes up in horror from such a dream. She frantically checks to see if her neck is still in place. She had been under too much stress in recent days. Leo wishes her good morning, and she didn't expect to see him here. She asks him what he is doing here. Toma warned him that he would have to work hard. Leo decided to wash the window so that Belinda could see the beautiful flowers. The heroine desperately restrains herself from bursting into tears from cuteness. She doesn't want to say something wrong that would upset him. This won't do. She needs to nip this thing in the bud. Belinda asks Ratty not to do anything. He thought about other work besides cleaning, but Belinda forbade him. She asked him not to do anything, just sit in the corner. She doesn't understand why Leo looks like this when she lets him rest. But the boy asks if he can at least make his bed. He wants to shake out the blankets and make them up. Belinda finally agreed, albeit with difficulty. She warned that not a speck of dust should remain on the blanket. Leo doesn't exactly look like a cleaning fairy, but for some reason, he likes it that way. The heroine definitely senses some kind of misunderstanding here. Every time Leo sees her, it looks like he's seeing a witch. But she resigned herself to the fact that she just needed to look after him. Leo is happy that he was given a task, because now he is useful. If he becomes cool, he won't be kicked out of here. He didn't notice that Belinda had been watching him all this time. Toma warned him that he would be screwed if he made even one mistake. Leo fell, dropping the blanket on the ground, causing it to get dirty. And now he feels like he's ruined everything. The boy already thinks that he will be sent to an orphanage. He enters Belinda's room quietly and hesitantly. She asks him to raise his head and look at her. Taking the scissors, she said it was time to deal with his head. It's been bothering her since the beginning, and she can't stand it anymore. Belinda just wants to tidy up his hair. Belinda's mouth blurts out that he can walk without his head. Leo started crying, promising that he would be a good boy. He begs Belinda to spare him, bursting into tears. The heroine wants to tell him that this is just a misunderstanding. Leo was so frightened by her words that he lost consciousness. While Leo is unconscious, he dreams of the director dragging him to the dungeon. The man calls him a useless brat. He saw Leo sleeping in his room, and he said he was just very tired. Until the morning, Leo will sit in the dungeon and think about his behavior. The director's son complained to his father that Leo was to blame for everything. Leo envies this boy because he has a mom and dad. If only Leo had this, he would be the happiest. The doctor suggests that Leo is experiencing stress due to his environment. Besides, he looks very exhausted due to lack of sleep. The doctor suggests giving him some medication today to monitor his condition. The system shows that Leo has 90% stress out of 100. Belinda doesn't understand how she could have failed to notice his condition. She should have been more careful and not scared to death. She also needs to figure out how to increase the sync speed. The heroine didn't even see the full ending of this game. It had many endings, all of which were plot-dependent. The true ending is famous because no one could get past it. Belinda was confident that she could take care of this child. She wondered if she should change her plan now. Suddenly, she heard Leo muttering something in his sleep. Belinda noticed that he was sweating and having a nightmare. In a dream, a boy calls for his mother. He whines quietly and asks where his mommy is. But the only adult Leo can trust now is Belinda. She is afraid to be near him because she is afraid that she will be killed, like in the game. But right now, Leo is just a boy missing his mother. Belinda is genuinely surprised she didn't notice. She's very sorry she was such a cowardly adult. No matter what happens, Belinda promises to protect him. She leaves a kiss on his forehead and wishes him sweet dreams. After this, Belinda called the maid. She asks her to call the manager immediately. Belinda said she wouldn't repeat it twice. When Toma woke up, he was surprised that Leo was not there. Toma thought he had escaped and given up so quickly. Suddenly, he hears someone saying what a luxurious life he has. It was Belinda, who realized that Toma had said all sorts of nasty things to Leo. Toma, shocked, asks what brought the lady here. She can't stand it when someone touches what belongs to her. Belinda asked how he dared to encroach on someone else's territory. Toma said he had no idea what she was talking about. But he, more than anyone, should know what happens when someone makes eye contact with her. The system window shows that the synchronization is 0 out of 100. Belinda warned that next time, it would be his neck under her thumb. After that, synchronization became 1 in 100. Belinda set her sights on Tom, promising to be the end of him. The maids whisper that Belinda caused a commotion in the servants' quarters. Now she understood how it all worked. After that, she started yelling at the servants, saying how useless they were. She asked for a red carpet to be laid wherever her foot stepped. From this month onwards, she is setting new rules in the estate. It turns out that in order to increase synchronization, she needs to act like Belinda. Of course, she's worried about the fatal ending, but oh well. Shuval asks if Belinda is causing trouble again. She was quiet for a while, and now again. But Shuval asks to leave her, because now there is no reason to bother her. The assistant informs them that they have received a letter from the notary, and the will arrive soon. Tomorrow, it will finally become known who the heir is. The assistant assures that the young master will definitely become the heir. Shovel chuckled, because they had been working towards this day for so long. He plays the role of the stupid little brother, doesn't raise his head. But today, Shuvel is ready to take off this mask. He says that Belinda needs to find a husband who cannot have children, because she hates them. And if she has a child, they will try to take money from their family. The assistant bows understandingly, promising to find a suitable one. Later, Belinda came to the garden where Leo was sleeping. When he woke up, he was scared, not expecting to see her here. He apologizes because the hammock was too cozy. She asked how long he intended to sit on the ground. He tries to sit elegantly, like Lady Belinda. Behind her serious expression lies a touching emotion. Leo didn't expect her to smile at him. Belinda asks Ratty to open his mouth. She gave him something crispy that melted right in his mouth. This is his reward for taking care of the hammock. In her mind, the heroine is glad that he likes the scent of lemon. He thanks her for giving him these lemon snowflakes. He said he would prepare to leave this evening. He is ashamed of all his mistakes, and that he couldn't even shake out the blanket properly. He spent whole days lying in bed, claiming that he was sick. Leo failed to serve properly, and he apologized for it. That's why he was so upset. But all she wants from him is for him to always be healthy. Belinda doesn't know if this is too much for her. She says he's so skinny he's no good. So now he has to eat everything she gives him. It's his job to eat a lot and grow big. In the future, he will become a useful servant to her. Leo agrees and promises that he will try his best. He will start eating a lot to grow into a big mouse. Belinda blushed when he finally understood everything. She didn't expect to see the boy smile at her. Belinda tries to keep a straight face, but it's not working. Suddenly, the head maid approached them. Shuval insistently asks her to visit him. She doesn't want to ruin her precious time with Leo. But the maid insists that she must go. She reported that a notary had arrived at the estate with the will of the late Marquise. The maids are indignant at how long they will have to endure this abuse. Once Shuval is appointed head, Belinda won't be able to say another word. But it seems that not everyone knows Belinda's true origins. Noticing that the lady was there, they switched to whispers. But Belinda heard them talking about the inheritance. No matter what share Shuval gets, Belinda will still not stand aside. But an unmarried royal daughter cannot inherit property worth a certain amount. But they say that when a rich family breaks up, even the third generation survives. Next, we move to the reception area of Blanche's house. Belinda wondered why there were so many onlookers there. Shuval greets her, saying that it has been an eternity since their last meeting. He heard that she got along well with her new servant. Despite his young age, he is doing an excellent job. But Shuval deliberately sent Leo to completely destroy her reputation. It is not necessary to set up a child, even if they have a bad relationship. Noticing that Belinda was not looking well, her brother asked if she was feeling ill. But she is not a fool and will not fall for his tricks anymore. At this point, reputation doesn't matter at all. Just like Belinda, she should tease Shuvel. She asks how a nobody like him dared to touch her. Belinda thinks he just wants to disgrace his noble blood. Shuvel is not one of those who easily reveals his true face. When everyone was gathered, they needed to hear their father's last will. The priest swears in the name of the law and God that he will speak the truth. He also confirms that there is no distortion here. The Marquis wrote that he intended to pass on all responsibility to the next generation. He bequeaths his title to his eldest son, Cheval Blanche. None of the guests were surprised, because it was expected. Belinda also doesn't care whether Cheval becomes the leader or not. All that matters now is the share that should go to Belinda. The Marquise left her 100,000 gold coins and an extension to the mansion. Some people laugh that the amount is so small, but judging by the current economy, it can survive for a long time. In addition, the Marquise left her 3 more mansions, a forest, and partial ownership of a beach. Also owns the Harrington mine in the north, and all the contents of the personal safe, previously belonging to the head of the family. Obviously, this situation irritates and displeases Cheval. And all this time, someone among the guests was secretly watching them. The property inherited under the pretext of a marriage fidelity is a whopping 40% of the entire fortune of Blanche's house. Belinda's future husband will be chosen based on her preferences. If she dies in an accident, all activities will be made public. Thanks to these conditions, Belinda is not afraid that Cheval will harm her. The heroine wondered why Belinda had not taken advantage of this opportunity. The store clerk prepared Leo according to all of Belinda's requests. Now he looked like the Leo Belinda knew. She said that she was doing all this just for his whim. They have a ton of different outfits that would be suitable for a fashion show. Belinda orders Ratty to try it all on. The first outfit is for walking, bright yellow. The second outfit serves as a costume for games. Belinda was then shown the perfect look for the events. Belinda decided without further ado that she would buy it all. She asks to pack everything that is here. Her attitude towards money is gradually becoming dull. The saleswoman said that Belinda had excellent taste. She shows her another costume that is hard to resist. Suddenly, the system notified that the synchronization had increased by 1. Leo asks her what he did wrong because it's all too much. But there are enough purchases for today, and Belinda asks to load them into the carriage. Today, she is walking with Leo. The weather is wonderful, and she wants it to always be like this. They found themselves on the territory of the great temple of the kingdom of Xenos. But if this is a great temple, then the sword must be somewhere here. After searching around for a bit, Belinda found it. It is said that 700 years ago, this sword was sealed in a coffin of eternal ice. This relic must be obtained in the game to become a hero. Belinda has a task to get the sword from the tomb. To turn a protagonist into a hero, you need to reach the maximum level in all characteristics. Perhaps now, Belinda will be able to increase her stats, even before the start of the original story. In that case, maybe she should aim for an ending with the protagonist. Leo asks if he can eat all the ice cream. Belinda gave her permission, saying that not a drop of it should remain. She doesn't know what she's thinking, because she'll have to leave in 6 months. She doesn't even know if Leo wants to be a hero. There are clearly defined good and bad endings here. The future she dreamed of for Leo was not the one he chose. If Leo is happy in any ending, then it will be a happy ending for him. Upon returning home, Belinda asks to draw a bath for Leo. But the servant informs her that some guest is waiting for her. But Belinda has such a character that she doesn't have any friends. She thought that maybe Cheval had sent someone. As she walks into the room, the guest greets her in a low voice. Belinda doesn't remember such a character being in the game. The man introduces himself as Alan Fanadin and apologizes for the late visit. Alan is here to meet Belinda on orders from Archduke Valuacton. Belinda thought that she had seen such an emblem in the game before. It seems that this is the very same Valuacton house. In one ending, the player joins the Ducal Knights and gains glory. In the far north of the continent, there is a barrier that blocks the invasion of demonic creatures. The guards who guard this barrier are the House of Valuacton. People nicknamed him the Demon Archduke, despite the fact that he belonged to one of the most powerful families. Rumor has it that he always wears a mask to hide his ugly face. 4 years ago in this story, he killed his parents, brothers, sisters, wife, and child. Belinda senses a murderous aura from Elena. There is a rule that Northern Knights are required to wear masks. Belinda asked what business had brought him here. His master wants to get the mine, so they offer a deal. Belinda remembers that the mine was one of the assets transferred to her. She already knew that rumors spread too quickly. To begin with, Belinda asks Alan to voice the terms. She must marry the Archduke for a certain period of time and separate by mutual consent. The condition is a marriage proposal. In a year, she will simply have to transfer the ownership of the mine to the Archduke. His lordship only needs the mine. He will not require anything else. To be honest, this is a pretty tempting offer for Belinda. There is a law that everything belonging to the bride is shared with her husband after the wedding. The Archduke has a chance to take half of her property, but instead, he makes this offer. It's a deal with a man called a demon. Belinda asks to tell what kind of person this is. The first thing Alan said was that the Archduke had all his limbs. He maintains discipline and takes a responsible approach to fulfilling his duties. Alan asked if there was anything else she wanted to know, but since he is here as a matchmaker, he must explain everything in detail. Suddenly, an artificial intelligence will speak to her, describing the Archduke's appearance. Belinda wants to know how handsome Alan's owner is. Alan replied hesitantly that he was probably handsome. They say he's quite the tyrant. Maybe now he will say that the Archduke is actually quite a gentleman. Alan asks her to know that this is all true. At this point, Belinda declines his lordship's offer. She asks Alan not to act as a matchmaker under any circumstances. She then asks to see this person out after the conversation is over. Before leaving, she wondered what was wrong with him, but she thought about proposing a deal to other nobles. Alan suddenly said he wanted to ask something else. Belinda didn't expect him to be so close. Taking her by the chin, the man asks where this necklace is from. Belinda waved him off, and he apologized for being rude. She already thought that he wanted to take revenge for refusing the Archduke. Alan admitted that he liked the design of the necklace. Belinda has been wearing this necklace since the first day of her rebirth. He seemed to like the lace necklace on his manly neck. Belinda refused to sell the necklace, asking him to leave. Alan says he plans to stay in the capital for a short time, and if she doesn't change her mind, he asks her to contact him. Finally, Alan asks Belinda to take care of herself. Belinda arrived at the annex where she would live. She asks the maid to open the door so she can look inside. The mansion may not look like much from the outside, but the inside is quite nice. Belinda asked Ratty to come with her. He heard everyone say that this place was strange. In fact, Leo is just afraid of ghosts. There are spirits and mythical creatures in this world. Since he was scared, Belinda decided to open the curtains. No one told her that the view from here would be of a cemetery. Leo closes his eyes in horror and asks why there is a cemetery here. There were times when Blanche's house was poorer than the poor. An ancestor was born who had a clear talent for running a business. He bought up a lot of land around the house and built the current house. But now Belinda can take care of Leo without prying eyes. She asks the boy to follow her and not stand still. From now on, Leo will live in his own room. He thought that this room would be like the one in the orphanage. The very thought that there might be a ghost there frightens him. But when the boy found himself inside, everything looked completely different from what he imagined. It doesn't look like a solitary confinement cell, but like a real room. So Leo said that Belinda seemed to be in the wrong room. She thought he was uncomfortable here, but he wasn't. Since Belinda is tired, she asks him to do whatever he wants with his schedule today. Leo still can't believe he can stay here. The bed he got turned out to be very soft. But remembering that it was Belinda's furniture, Leo stopped fooling around. At night, he thought about how quiet it was here. In the orphanage, everyone usually slept in one room. When he went out into the corridor, he noticed a slightly open door. Leo decides to look inside and see what's there. Inside the room, to no surprise, was Belinda. She joked that her servant did not dare to lie down first with her. Belinda gave Leo the milk, warning him that it was still hot. Now she will give him the opportunity to get acquainted with one book. Belinda asks him to be a good servant and listen to her carefully. Once upon a time, in a certain kingdom, there lived a princess who was bewitched by black magic. The magic was like a curse that made her say things she didn't want to say. Her good thoughts were always voiced as bad, and gratitude was always replaced by condemnation. The most painful thing was confessing my feelings to the prince. She told him, with a visibly confessed expression, that she hated him. She was upset that the prince was ill. People believed that the princess was speaking out loud, and so the prince began to distance himself from her. Then the princess couldn't say anything else at all. There was not a single person in this world who would listen to her true words. Leo realizes how similar this story is to Belinda's. Everyone talks about how cruel she is, but she's not really. They all just don't know how kind Belinda really is. So Leo decided that he would always be on Belinda's side. Shovel, as he had long dreamed of, finally became the head of the house. Except his sister took his gold. We need to ask His Highness the Prince what he thinks about charity projects. If a large sum is donated to the society, His Highness should be interested in it. Shovel can't believe that Belinda was so dear to her father. Suddenly, Belinda felt a chill run through her, as if someone was remembering her. She is sure that it is Chauvel who remembers her. This survival game is quite brutal from Belinda's point of view. It would be nice if she had spare lives. And now she thought deeply about it. She needs permission to use the feature in the store. It turns out that the store really does exist. This means that premium items should be there. Of all the other things, there is only one thing that Belinda wants to buy. This is a first-class healing potion that is said to resurrect even the dead. A thing that can even restore limbs. This item was indispensable even during the game. Based on its description, whoever created it must be a Vivian mage. Belinda came to the place where the magician often comes to find her. She will have to wait here to find it. Meanwhile, some girl is begging for a piece of bread. This man in a black hood looks suspicious. Belinda asked her, since when magicians beg for alms in the temple? The legend said that priests and magicians do not get along with each other. The priest, as he said, there was no food, and asked the magician to leave the area. But Belinda told her that their conversation was not over yet. The girl looks as if she has been hungry for a very long time. Belinda suggests asking her for alms instead of God. But the magician cannot accept such kindness from a stranger. Belinda asked if she wanted fresh vegetables or stewed meat. She also offers fresh steak with an incredible sauce. It seems that this is exactly what interested the girl. When Belinda treated her, the magician thanked her for the food. She may look like a vegan, but she has a good appetite. In the game, this girl appears as a ghost. In the game, you need to complete her dying task. This means that Belinda now has only one chance to get her lives back. She asked if the girl was familiar with the meteor beacon, the nest of the migratory twin birds. These are the names of magical items that are popular in stores. The girl nervously replied that she didn't know anything like that. In response, Belinda asks the waiter to clear the dishes. Looking at the girl, she asked if she really hadn't understood anything yet. Vivian's mentor is the magician Bruno. Every magical item he released was made by Vivian. Vivian reveals that she used her mentor's belongings to create items. Belinda asks her to go and tell the cook to cook the steak. Vivian sighs and says how expensive everything is here. Since she is an ordinary commoner, she cannot afford such a thing. Vivian gave up all rights to her inventions. Belinda thought there must be some tragic story here. She offers Vivian a deal, asking how much she is currently being paid. Since she is a simple student, she is not paid anything, but in return, she receives room and board. Belinda asked why she was begging then. Vivian admitted that she simply eats too much. He not only forced her to work for free, but also stole her work. The simple opportunity to invent something makes Vivian happy. Therefore, she can never betray her mentor. As a commoner, she simply has no other choice. But that doesn't mean Belinda will ignore it. But if Vivian wishes, she will not insist. But if she has time, she can come to the specified place. Belinda told her that she could find her. Unlike her mentor, she is kind to her obedient dogs. Today, Belinda gives Leo a task that only he can complete. The boy promises her to do everything in his power. He has become more energetic lately. Today, Belinda will teach him to write. She asks him to watch and learn elegant handwriting. Now she asks the boy to repeat after her. He doesn't even realize that the first word he wrote is his name. However, his handwriting is really very neat. The hero's star learned to write, and intelligence was added to him. From now on, Leo will learn 3 words a day. And if he fails, Belinda will hit him over the head like last time. The boy became embarrassed and asked her to forget about that day. A few days pass like this, and Belinda allows him to do whatever he wants. She doesn't understand how cleaning can make him so happy. His intellect and divine power increased. But Belinda doesn't expect a big leap because he's learned to write. She hadn't yet asked Leo about his dreams and future. For Leo, the dream itself can be a manifestation of masculinity. For starters, she will help expand this world for Leo. And when he has his own dreams, he must have the strength to make them come true. Vivian would be perfect for teaching magic. Soon, Belinda herself will have to visit the Magic Tower. First, she needs to collect all the study materials. She takes out a book about the formation of the kingdom. In this world, there are creatures born with special gifts. They react to the world around them differently than ordinary people. For example, Ophelia is one of them. Any creature that Ophelia showers with warmth and affection grows up healthy. The book contains the family crest of the House of Blanche, which means that someone also had abilities. That which exists but is invisible to other eyes. Belinda has no idea what she read, but it's interesting. Usually, abilities are passed down through inheritance. It also looks like it's going to rain all night. Belinda noticed someone's silhouette in the corridor. She had previously ordered no one to go upstairs. But it turned out to be her brother Chauvel. He asked how her marriage business was going. He has in his hands many answers to her marriage proposals. It seems Belinda has been everywhere. Chauvel asked if she really thought she would still be safe. For some reason, The heroine feels how Belinda continues to tremble with fear. She tries to breathe evenly and stay calm. Belinda tells him that he talks too much for an uninvited guest. Moreover, she never gave him permission to breathe into her house. Shovel asked where that brat she was always picking on was. He heard that Belinda fed him well and dressed him beautifully, but he asks her not to forget that he personally chose this boy for her. Leo can report on her actions just like the previous maids. Shovel is curious about the man she will marry. If she dies, the entire estate will go to her husband. So Shovel isn't sure Belinda can call such a person an ally. He said she needed to learn to be more careful. Belinda thought that she really had made a mistake about something. She thought the trembling running through her body was due to anger. But now the heroine knows that Belinda is simply afraid of Shovel. Her brother suddenly grabbed her face with his hand. Now the real reason why Belinda was so cruel to that boy is clear. She simply couldn't trust anyone anymore. Shovel is surprised that their sharp Belinda has lost the power of speech. In fact, Belinda was always scared to death. She suddenly hits Shovel sharply between the legs. In the end, it is Belinda's fear, but not the heroine's. Shovel thought Belinda had gone crazy and wanted to hit her, but he hesitates to do so, and she asks why he can't strike. For Belinda, this was expected, because Shovel is a half-breed. If she gets even the slightest scratch, she will call the doctor and tell everything. She will tell you what her dear older brother did to her. After her father's will, Belinda was immediately sent to this old outbuilding. That's why she has to live here without any servants. People will be more interested in the story of how a victim turns into an aggressor. Shovel can't let his mask fall in a place like this. Belinda said he didn't even manage to kill her. The system sent that it received part of Belinda's memories. She already thought that she would have to sweat for a long time over synchronization. She should thank Shovel for this. They noticed Leo watching them, who had come because Belinda had been gone for a long time. Shovel said that people become stronger when they have someone to protect. He asks this boy what his name is. Belinda asked Leo not to answer him, and after that, they left. It's lucky that she found something dear to her heart. Leo wondered why Belinda said that Shovel had failed to kill her. It seems to him that they had a big fight. In that case, he decided that he had to be the one to protect Belinda. Now, Belinda will have to be more careful, since Leo is now in danger. Still, she thinks she was really cool back then. After calling up the system window, she saw that she had received a reward for completing the task. Belinda remembered the talk about the reward. Now she decides to open and look at Belinda's memories. When Belinda was little, she heard someone crying in the bushes. Then she asked the young gentleman what had happened, but the man became frightened, mistaking the girl for a ghost. Belinda told him that there were no ghosts here, and they say that only children believe in such things. The man dismisses it as rain, not tears. Then she suddenly asked him if he was his uncle. He confirms that her father is his older brother. Belinda asks him to stop all this. She feels like she is looking at her father crying. But her uncle keeps insisting that he lost his brother. Because of all this, Belinda herself began to cry. Uncle hugged her, and they began to cry together. After they both have cried, he asks her to blow her nose. Uncle blushes, apologizing that she had to see such a pitiful sight. Belinda says no one else cried for her parents. At that moment, the man heard someone talking. He suddenly said that it was time for him to go. He is confident that they will meet her again. A year after Belinda's parents died, she asks her uncle to become her guardian. There are too many leeches around her now that want to attach themselves to her. She needs someone honest who is not greedy for money, and who loved her parents, who can be just as kind to her. Therefore, she asks her uncle to become her legal father. Before this conversation, he asks the servants to leave them. He told Belinda that she couldn't just talk about things like that. If he becomes her father, then he will have to become the head of the house. But he can't do this. It's hard for him to even think about it. It's enough for him that Belle calls him uncle. The girl started to freak out because she needed him to become her dad. While he tells her it's not easy, she continues to cry. The man lifts her up, warning her that she might get hurt. She can't roll around on the floor like that. She might get bruises. The next time, her uncle asks her to be capricious on the bed. This time, he really can't fulfill her request. He already has a son, and if he becomes her father, her rights to inheritance may be denied. The man asks her to understand him, because this is all for her own good. But Belinda asked why he was so kind to her then. She doesn't understand why he sits with her all night when she's sick. He always visits her every evening to have dinner with her. Because of this, he made Belinda weak so that she could learn everything on her own. Even if she is naughty, she still wants to become his daughter. Uncle tries to calm her down, but Belinda runs away from him. She decided that she would not say another word to him. Uncle asks if she remembers him talking about his wife who died in childbirth. He admits that he always thought of Belinda as his daughter when he lost his wife. Then the man asked if that wasn't enough for her. When Belinda came out, she said that this was not enough. She needs proof that she really is his daughter. He knows he can be a good guardian, but he's not sure he can be a good father to her. But Belinda can't say she'll be a good daughter either. The girl, with tears in her eyes, begs her uncle again. Sighing, he asks what he should do with her. Soon he showed her documents confirming that he was her guardian. The place of official heir will still belong to her. In response to these words, the girl hugged the man. He hugged her back, mentally thanking her for becoming his daughter. Now, the heroine understood that these were Belinda's memories. But she needs to understand that these are Belinda's emotions, not hers. It seemed she had been gone for so long that Leo became worried. The boy asked her to wait for a minute and ran off somewhere. When he returned, he handed her a white handkerchief. Leo said that she could wipe away her tears. Belinda didn't realize when she started crying. This is because these are the tears of Belinda, and not the main character. He must have been very worried when he saw her crying. Belinda says she'll take care of this handkerchief, but Leo borrowed it from a guest, so the handkerchief must be returned. It turned out to be Alan, who says that the scarf does not need to be returned. He asks Belinda if he can talk to her. He arrived to hear the lady's response to the gentleman's proposal. He said that they would prioritize any lady's choice until she gives him ownership of the mine. That day, Belinda visited the mine to understand the Archduke's true intentions. They say that this is the only place where high-quality stones can be mined. But somewhere in the area of the mine, there is a gate connected to the demonic world. Demonic energy turns those around it into demons. That's why the Blanche family grants special rights to extract the stones. They make a profit by selling the stones throughout the kingdom. Belinda said the Walloacton family were unable to maintain their trade. Since the Archduke was unable to establish a trade route, he had no use for the mine. But Alan replied that he could not say anything about it. Belinda has been worried about Chauvel's behavior lately. Belinda's life in the game usually ended due to accidents. Previously, the heroine thought that this was how they wanted to show the heroes the ending, where good triumphs over evil. She needs a supporter who will protect her. Besides, it would be nice if the Archduke provided her with a knight. Eventually, Belinda agrees to look at the contract. She was wearing lie detector glasses, a recommended item for the protagonist's upbringing. This is the special award she received, along with the piece of Belinda's memory. It was one of the items that was immediately in the inventory. When she played the game, she never used these glasses. But now she will do it to find out if this man can be trusted. A display similar to a heart monitor appeared above his head. Belinda asks again why the Archduke needs to go into the mine. Alan says his lordship wants to seal the mine. This place is like a goose that lays eggs. Then Belinda asked if he was one of those who kill for money. She began asking Alan questions, to which he answered truthfully. She even doubted that the glasses worked at all. And then she asked if it was true that the Archduke had killed the family and then inherited the title. After a short pause, Alan replied that it was true. Belinda noticed at that moment how his pulse had changed. Once home, Alan, having taken off his mask, thought about her question. He has a wind-up bird in his cage that he decided to turn on. As soon as she gets wound up and wakes up, she calls him Archduke Caesar. The bird asks Caesar why he just came. He replied that he was here now, so everything was fine. The bird complains that she has to sort through a pile of papers every day. Caesar tells Fanadin that he is too noisy, but Fanadin, just in case, asks the master if he is resting. She asks him to imagine how wonderful it would be to spend time relaxing. But the Archduke suddenly announces that he has found a job. In addition, he states that he is engaged and will soon get married. Fanadin doesn't understand what's happening. Due to the death of the Marquise, the mine became a frozen asset. Caesar must get his hands on this mine as soon as possible. Fanadin thinks that something bad has happened and is worried. Caesar asks him to stop talking nonsense and take a closer look at Lady Belinda. Fanadin guesses that this is Lady Blanche. He is confident that she can catch demons with one hand. He even recalls how they tried to guess Caesar's ideal type. But Caesar had heard that such a girl was just Fanadin's ideal type. After this, he switched off the bird, leaving it in the cage. Caesar heard that Belinda was so heartless that she did not attend the Marquise's funeral. But Caesar saw how she mourned the death of her family. There are times when rumors become reality, and Caesar feels like someone is spreading bad rumors. Royal approval for marriage takes 6 months. Yet these procedures are too complicated. If the marriage is dissolved, Belinda's safety must be guaranteed. She remembered Alan saying he would stay in the capital. According to the terms of the contract, she trusts him with her safety. There is no one more honest than Alan. Even Chauvel cannot beat him. Alan said she didn't even consider other knights. It's a pity that he will be working for her during his vacation. She tells Sir Fenadine that she chooses him. Belinda assumed he would be bored around her. She offers to teach Leo how to use a sword. But first, Alan asks her to sign a contract. From that moment on, Belinda appoints him as her personal knight. Belinda truly trusts him with her life. So a week goes by as he teaches Leo how to use a sword. Leo told the master that the sword was too heavy, but the man replied that he had simply lost his balance. Besides this, Leo needs to correct his posture. The boy noticed that Belinda had been watching them all this time. Leo shows interest in the sword and listens attentively to Alan. It would be nice to choose a future in which he becomes a knight. But Leo has a long way to go. Alan asks him not to forget what he taught him. The system showed that Leo's endurance had increased. The basics of swordplay take a long time to learn, but Leo remembered them within a week. Belinda wondered who this man was. The maid reported that a guest from the tower had arrived. Belinda immediately thought that Vivian had come to see her. She asks to be escorted immediately to the guest. Leo asked Alan how he could become as strong as him. Normally, a person would have been scared of Alan long ago, but not Leo. He doesn't show the slightest sign of fear. Alan asks Leo to focus on shaping his body. Leo asked if he could become a good servant. Alan didn't expect to hear that he didn't want to become a knight. Leo admits that he wants to protect Belinda with all his might. Alan is confident that this child will become strong very soon, because he has an honest and brave heart. Meanwhile, Vivian actually came to Belinda. The quest involving Vivian occurs twice in the game. After completing one quest, you can get a map from the warehouse. In the process of interacting with this guest, Belinda realized something. Vivian did not die of starvation, but of guilt. She went to the place Belinda told her about. The map she gave her leads to the warehouse where the potion is. Belinda reveals that she knows Vivian created the potion. She admitted that she created the potion for her grandmother, who had lost her memory. If you drink the potion and fall asleep, you can see your best memories in a dream. Vivian just wanted to give her grandmother some peace. She would have fainted if she had known about the future that Belinda knows. This potion can become a very dangerous drug. In the original story, Vivian's owner secretly sells another version of this potion. Midway through the game, mass deaths begin. Vivian must have guessed that Belinda had revealed the truth to her. If she agrees to work for Belinda, she will get everything she wants. But Vivian doesn't understand why Belinda is so kind to her. Vivian is scared because she was betrayed by the teacher she trusted. Belinda decided to ask Vivian how much the mug of tea in her hands was worth. Her eyes almost pop out of her head when she hears the price. You can live on this amount for 4 years, covering all your expenses. It's easy for a member of Blanche's family to spot a pearl in the mud. Thanks to her family, Belinda has discerning eyes. That's why she provides her service. Her hobby is to find valuable things that are not yet recognized by people, and then show them to the world. But Vivian thinks there is nothing special about her. Belinda can't believe her keen eyes were wrong. Vivian just thinks she's weak without her teacher. Vivian had to humiliate herself many times because of him. Belinda's original goal was to get the potion, but she feels too sorry for Vivian. Belinda told her that she should know her worth. If Vivian refuses the offer, nothing will change in her life. One day, she may tell the owner that she is against selling her potion, but she understands how this could all end. Unable to overcome hunger and cold, she may die. This is exactly the ending Belinda sees for Vivian. And this is not even an exaggeration, but the real ending. Melinda wants to give Vivian another chance. She sincerely hopes that the girl will not refuse her. When Vivina agreed, Belinda asked her to say it louder. Vivian says that if Belinda helps her, she will do everything she can. But Belinda reminds her that she shouldn't think so lowly of herself. If Belinda helps stop the potion sales, Vivian will make any other potion she wants. Belinda received money as a reward for completing the task. First, she needs to feed Vivian properly. Vivian decided to ask what Belinda would do with the potion. Now, unlike the original, the potion has only just begun to spread. So she replied that now was the time to catch some rats. Soon, carriages from other boutiques arrived at the house. The maids think Belinda is throwing money away. It seems that the head of the house is preparing for the inheritance with all his might. The girls who arrived from the boutiques began to get acquainted. Now they understood what that very Lady Blanche looked like. Belinda ordered them to sew a complete wardrobe for the poor magician Vivian. The one who finds the most suitable outfit will receive a reward. But if something doesn't suit her, they will regret it for the rest of their lives. If they take advantage of this chance, they can rise above others. The girls started asking Vivian what style she preferred. Vivian says she doesn't need new clothes. Belinda asked if she really wanted to continue walking around like she was rich. She asks Vivian to just do what she says. Belinda watched Vivian's post from yesterday and didn't find anything difficult in it. The process is not complicated, and the potion is really easy to prepare. But Belinda doesn't understand how such a simple recipe could become addictive. She asked who Cecile was, who was mentioned in the title. One of the girls decided to attract attention to herself, but she immediately gets a slap on the back of the head from her mother. The mother apologizes for her daughter because it is the first time she works in front of such an important person. It turned out to be Mary from the Bluebird Boutique. She introduces her daughter as Thierry. Belinda eventually settled on their dress. She asks the rest to finish and return. She also decided to ask if they made men's clothing. Mary's husband does this, but he is sick now. Belinda and Vivian will go out to dinner at a restaurant this evening. Some things may resolve themselves. At night, Thierry decided to sneak into Belinda's house. She finds an open window and climbs through it. The room she found herself in seemed to be empty, so Thierry immediately began searching. Suddenly, she heard a man's voice behind her. Realizing that she has been caught, she decides to escape through the window. Belinda tells the knight to remember that she must not be killed. They need to try to be quiet so that Leo doesn't wake up. Thierry didn't expect the knight behind Belinda to be so strange. It's clear from his expression that he's ready to kill her right on the spot. Eventually, Thierry decides to give up, out of fear. She clearly didn't come all this way to finish the dress. Belinda assumed that Thierry was in complete despair. Thierry says their boutique is renowned for its impeccable service. They were so eager to show off the finished dress that they burst in here at night. Even though Thierry is tied hand and foot, she still has the recipe. Belinda asks Thierry to take a look at this recipe, and inside was just a signature lemon pie recipe. Thierry can't believe it, because he remembers Belinda mentioning the potion. Belinda told how the rat got into the trap. Alan didn't understand what they were talking about, so Belinda decided to introduce Thierry to him. She asked her how she knew that she was a rat. They both look like they have no idea what's going on, but Belinda understood what was going on. Remembering the situation 2 days ago, she doesn't have enough grounds to raise the guard. The only way is to destroy all stock from the warehouse. It would be nice if there was someone who, like her, needed to destroy the potion. There are also people who hate Bruno very much. This is not Vivian or the temple that is at odds with the magic tower. There are rats that control order, thanks to their information network, and wild dogs that guard it with merciless cruelty. The stranger disturbed the order, so they now despise Bruno. Among them is a rat leader who is dying of addiction. The rats, having lost their leader, quickly disintegrated. Deprived of rats, the wild dogs became a useless gang. The slums, left without rulers, succumbed to the potion. The rats are probably now desperately searching for the culprit. Belinda is confident that the key to the mystery will definitely be found. In the third ending, the protagonist becomes the lord of the criminal underworld. Thierry told him that the rats used to run a regular family business. He was called a leader, but in reality, he only supported his brilliant father, a position that allows one to easily eavesdrop on noble gossip. Belinda asks to urgently contact the boutique in the capital. Thus, she deliberately revealed the information in the presence of her informants, and the rats greedily grabbed the cheese that Belinda threw to them. She told Thierry that she was underestimating their home's information network. Thierry knows that Blanche's family has nothing but money. Belinda intends to provide information that even rats don't know. She asked what about the location of the potion, or the confrontation itself. Thierry thought Belinda was confessing to producing the potion. Belinda asked why she had to prove her innocence. She will definitely take payment from Thierry for her insolence. In the end, Belinda never slept a wink. Thierry continued to stare at her until she left. Her body came into this state from one sleepless night. She asks Alan to give her a cold cloth for her eyes. Thinking that she was putting too much strain on him, she wanted to change her mind. But Alan had already placed his cold palm on her eyes. Belinda asked in surprise what he was doing. Alan explains that his aura's property is ice. Belinda thought that this aura was simply useless. She noted that Alan, for some reason, did not ask her any questions. He said he would ask if she ordered, but it was too late. Since Belinda's fever doesn't go down, Alan asks her to rest. His voice sounds like he's worried about her, but Belinda asked how he dared to feel sorry for her. But this is a concern, because if something happens to her, the engagement contract will become invalid. He was genuinely worried about her, even with that cold expression on his face. Belinda tells him that in this way, he is quite similar to her. After that, she went to rest in her room. They will get what they want from each other, and after that, their paths will diverge. But Cesar never thought she could smile like that. Bruno was informed that a fire had broken out at the retail outlet last night, and Mr. Bruno's warehouse burned to the ground. Bruno furiously asks where they all were at the time of the fire. There was a year's supply of potions, hundreds of kilograms of ingredients. There are no herbs left on the market, apparently. Someone bought them all up. Bruno asks to find out who did this and send him to him immediately. He decided that it would be better to squeeze a new magical tincture out of Vivian. He had just been informed that Vivian had arrived. Bruno was already starting to worry because he hadn't seen her lately. He asks what on earth she's wearing. Vivian said she managed to get some new clothes. But Bruno says that people like her must avoid luxury. He asked how the work on the restorative potion was progressing. Bruno asks to write down the progress of the research and bring it to him. Seeing that Vivian was silent, he asked if she had any doubts. Vivian wants to know when she can get the mantle of the magic tower. She has been Bruno's apprentice for almost 8 years now, but she was never given any recognition. Bruno said that she couldn't have done anything without his help. Since he saw her passion, he allowed her to use the scientific equipment. At that moment, Vivian remembered how she and Belinda had seen the hunters. They will never throw away the meteor beacon. In the depths of the dungeon, a lighthouse indicates the location of the stars. The nest of migratory twin birds allows them to communicate to their families that they are safe. Belinda asks to look at the faces of those who use magical instruments. Vivian saw only happiness in these faces. This was the value Belinda saw in her. If Vivian doubts her own strength, she can believe in their happiness. Vivian tells Bruno that she is not some street girl from the slums. She screams that she is not as useless as he thinks. Vivian is ready to file a claim for authorship of this potion. Bruno asked in a rage if this was really her gratitude. Vivian can't even believe that she could follow such a man. If it weren't for Lady Belinda, she would never have changed. When Vivian left Bruno, he said she would regret it. Belinda can't remember the last time she felt so calm. Leo informed her that he was finished with the tasks. After checking them, she decided that he deserved 5 macarons. Leo said he wanted to share with everyone because he felt awkward. If Belinda had her way, she would have bought him an entire factory. Belinda says they should all enjoy it. Thierry came to them and asked why they didn't invite her. She says she loves sweets too. Alan immediately persuaded her, but she said that she gave up. She came to report the mission, but Belinda has little faith in her. Thierry wants to be heard. She is sure that if they kick her out, they will not be able to sleep because of curiosity. Lou started crying because they were arguing. Belinda finally agreed, and they went into the house. Belinda asks Thierry not to drag things out and get straight to the point. Thierry gives her a report on his cooperation with the rats. The report included people who were taken care of. Nothing specific was written about Bruno. Thierry told him that he should go to sleep. She even asked Bruno if he had tried the potion before. Bruno asked how she dared to raise her hand against the magician. But it's not just the tower that has rules. The slums do too. Here, no one will look for the killer and punish him according to the law. Soon, Bruno will be begging to be let into the next world. Having told this, Thierry clarified that he was not dead. It seems Bruno suspected something and wanted to run away. As expected from a rat, they get the hang of things quickly. Once Vivian's potion reaches first place in the slums, the quest will be considered completed. Now it's time to come up with a reason for such a hack here. Thierry said there was no security system at all here. But when there is a good bodyguard, Belinda's safety is not in danger. But what about when Belinda is changing clothes or taking a bath? Belinda is shocked that Alan is thinking about this. She said that she would make sure that no one would enter the estate without reason. 2 days ago, Thierry had a dream that she broke into the estate and stole something. She asks not to worry and just look at her statement. Her specialty is murder and her hobby is dispatch. The only one who can protect Belinda from the threat is another mercenary. Thierry officially applies for the butler position. Thierry is a newcomer, but he is quite suitable for the role of butler. Belinda wondered what she was doing now. Thierry's parents told her to take a few months to reflect on her life. So Thierry came to Belinda to repay her kindness. After struggling with this all night, she came to the conclusion that she wanted to protect Belinda. The lady's personal information was passed on to the guilds, where they are considering her murder. That's why Belinda hired a northern knight to protect her. Thierry vows to protect Belinda until he repays her. And that's how she hired a hitman as her butler. Soon, Belinda showed Vivian her new workplace. From this day on, She will be a temporary maid, so she can stay here. Vivian promises to prove that Belinda identified the talent correctly. Now Vivian has been transformed and blossomed. Belinda asks her to try to make a potion that can heal any wound. Vivian says she will do whatever she says. Belinda will give her the opportunity to learn magic. Vivian said that she didn't have to worry about her. A few hours later, Vivian wrote out an explanation of basic magic. Belinda didn't understand anything at all, although she had always been an excellent student. Looking at Leo, it seems to her that his soul has left his body. But, judging by the fact that his intelligence had increased, he understood everything. Leo was so excited that he kept stomping. Belinda asks to move on to the intermediate application of the magic circle. She asked why Vivian had added a magic circle to the formula she had explained at the beginning, and Vivian replied that she simply had to do it. It is quite possible that magic is not a difficult subject. It's just that Vivian is a reliable teacher. Belinda asks Vivian to get ready to try on new clothes. She doesn't know why she's breaking the soul of a boy who's almost a genius. After Belinda heard Vivian scream, her life became easier. She wanted to find the best magician for Leo. There is a head of a magic tower, but she has no desire to have anything to do with him. Leo finishes his fitting. The new butler dresses him up. Belinda's eyes clear, and all the questions float away from her heart because of Leo. The maids whisper that this could really be the same child. This reaction is quite natural. His sunken cheeks became noticeably rounder, and his shoulders straightened. However, Belinda cannot say a single warm word to him. Thierry asked Belinda if she liked his outfit. Her facial expression says quite the opposite. Belinda had already decided that Thierry would not see the award. Leo asked where they were going, when he noticed that Belinda was also dressed up. She replied that they would go somewhere where Leo had never been before. This is the capital's October festival. This is a great way to reduce stress. Leo wonders what is celebrated at this festival. It is held in honor of the king who founded this country. Belinda noticed that this maid treated Leo kindly, unlike the others. When she asked her name, the maid replied that it was Mary. Belinda asked her to come over and finish her hair. Mary asked if she could trim the ends and change the decoration. Mary turned out to have excellent taste. Belinda decided to observe Mary to make sure she was normal. But soon, Mary informed Chauvel that Belinda had gone to the festival. She went to the commoners' square, not to the nobles' party. She also took her beloved servant with her. Nothing is known about the new employees. Vivian is hard to spot anywhere, and the estate's butler is busy sewing. Chauvel doesn't understand why Belinda hired such weak assistants. Besides this, Mary brought him what he asked for. Since Mary treated her well, she seems determined to keep her. Chauvel asks Mary to continue to take care of his sister in the future. They noticed that the Northern Knight had lingered longer than he had planned. Chauvel noted that Belinda has no intention of joining the Valwachtan family. He is sure that she would not want to rot in the Northern lands. First, he wants to find out how artificial a person she is. This way, they can find out if the knight is really the one who can protect her. Since joining, he has not had the opportunity to even take a sip of water. Chauvel gives a tuft of hair to his raven. He thinks the raven wants to hurry up and swallow this hair. This evening, he will send a raven to his parents. Leo had never seen anything like this festival before. He thought that he could become stronger if he had a real sword. He wanted to tell Belinda what he saw, but suddenly he got lost. He clearly remembers that the lady and the knight were nearby, but not a second passed before Alan found him. Leo did the right thing by staying put. Judging by the expression on Belinda's face, she is angry. Alan made it clear that they found him quickly. Belinda said that Leo would have to put on a leash. Alan thinks this is too harsh. However, she forced the boy to give her his hand. After this, Belinda asks Alan to show them the way. She noticed that Leo was staring at something. He noticed the cotton candy, wondering why people ate clouds. Belinda clarified that it was called cotton candy. But if you think about it, Leo hasn't received his salary yet. So the girl gave him her money for his work. Now she asks him to go try some cotton candy. Leo can't get enough of how cotton candy feels like a cloud. He thought it would taste even better if he dipped the cotton wool in lemonade. But when he did this, the cotton wool obviously dissolved. They originally bought 2, so there was a portion left over for the night. But Alan ate it all himself, so that no one else would get any. Belinda had no idea he was so heartless. She gives the boy more pocket money so that he can buy new cotton wool. Belinda said she wouldn't repeat it twice. When Leo was buying cotton candy, he heard a familiar voice. It turned out to be Kiran, with whom they were in the same orphanage. Chiron noticed that he had also come to buy cotton wool, but he asked with interest where he got the money. Chiron thought he stole them, but Leo denied it. Karen told him that he was a beggar. He had neither father nor mother, and he realized that it was true that Leo had been made a slave. Because of his age, Leo cannot be considered a normal subordinate. Almost in tears, the boy decides to run away. Belinda asked if he knew the piglet. As it turns out, Chiron is the son of the director of the orphanage. Belinda wonders what he said that made Leo run back. Leo conveyed his words that he had no parents. This made Belinda very angry, which is not surprising. She tells Leo that he will have parents, but a little later, although he can even say that they exist now. When Leo asked who they were, Belinda pointed to herself and Alan. Among the speeches used by nobles, there are those which are called bluff. And now, Leo just needs to bend the truth a little. Belinda wants Leo to tell Chiron that he doesn't have such a beautiful mother and a devilishly cool father in his family. Leo repeated her words with difficulty, a little hesitantly. Now Belinda asks to go to Chiron and tell him this. When Leo returned, Chiron noticed two adults next to him. Leo tells Chiron the words that Belinda asked him to say. Chiron can't believe that such a brat has parents. Belinda said her name was Mistress and asked what the problem was. Alan asked the shop owner to cook a large portion of food for his son. But even if they pay extra, it will be difficult to make such a huge portion. But when Alan paid him in gold, he agreed without any problem. By the end of the day, Belinda was starting to get tired. Leo has a lot of energy. He never sat down for a second. Belinda decided she urgently needed some caffeine. She noticed that Alan added a lot of sugar to his tea. Looks so cool, but actually has a sweet tooth. She asks Alan not to tell the Grand Duke about what happened earlier, that they pretended to be a married couple. Belinda was so excited that she didn't realize that the Archduke might not like it. But one way or another, Chiron was the one who started it. Since the lady had asked Alan to be his escort, he had remained silent until now. But the truth was different, and Belinda said it was better not to voice it. He had a feeling that he was about to say something inappropriate to her. She asked him to take his time and think. Alan decided to ask what she would do when the contract ended. Belinda said she would go south. She clarified that this south is further than the one Alan thinks about. When Terry mentioned that her data was floating around the guild, she wasn't surprised. Apparently, she already knew that there would be attempts on her life. If she plans to leave, Alan could find a place for her on his territory. Belinda just wants to go somewhere where no one knows her. Alan said that this is her homeland. But for Belinda, both of these places are completely meaningless. If she does manage to leave, she will give Alan the necklace. Alan decided to ask why she always wears it. This is a gift from Belinda that suits her perfectly. At first glance, a ruby looks like a high-quality gemstone, but this mysterious stone seals the wearer's mana. Belinda seems to have no idea what she's wearing. The stone has side effects such as fatigue and headaches. The Marquise's daughter carries an item that is needed to neutralize dangerous criminals. Cesar hopes that this necklace means nothing to her. Belinda said that the necklace was given to her by someone dear to her. She guesses she should have said it didn't matter to her. Alan probably thought she got it from a special person. At some point, Alan caught the falling girl in his arms. She was very scared when she looked at him. Belinda told him that people avoided him because of this mask. Someone might mistake him for a monster. But knights wear masks to warn of the danger they represent. If a man wearing a demon mask commits a massacre, he is subject to execution on the spot. Alan asked Belinda if she knew such a law existed. In fact, she thought it was just a metaphor to describe criminals. Sir Fenedon's mask seems to have something to do with it. Northern knights who hunt magical beasts are at risk of going mad. These miasmas eventually destroy humanity. As proof, the infected knight's eyes turn red. Once the transformation begins, there is no way to prevent it. So the mask denotes someone who stands on the border between beast and man. If the person wearing the mask goes crazy, he should be addressed as a demon. Alan has a bitter look, barely visible from under his mask. Belinda felt like Alan was always standing to the side, watching them. But Belinda is sure that Alan will definitely not go crazy. At that moment, the first fireworks appeared in the sky. But Belinda noticed that Leo had disappeared somewhere. Dancing people gather around and are swept away by the crowd. Alan knows that Belinda is going to go to that mouse. Therefore, he asks to be allowed to see her out. Thus, Alan will drag her along with him into the dance. Belinda did it without even thinking. Alan allowed her to lean on him if she felt dizzy. The heroine noticed that his eyes were clear and pure. For some reason, they suddenly seemed familiar to her. Leo, who found them, said that they looked like a knight and a princess. In her past life, the heroine never danced with a man. She even pressed herself against his chest, which was unexpected for her. It seems like there's nothing special about this for Alan. Leo suddenly saw the parents walking with their daughter hand in hand, so he asked Belinda and Alan to hold his hands too. Before leaving, Belinda asked if Leo really didn't want to see the parade, but he had long since noticed how tired Belinda was, so he said he might watch the parade next time. The stress window showed 0% out of 100. In a year, Leo will be able to enjoy the festival with Ophelia. Right now, if he can smile,